welcome back everybody to another episode of the GameCast NewsCast. I am Snowy, otherwise known as Count Fracula. Joining me, as always, are my faithful co-hosts. We have Maximol from the review team.
Hi!
Ow, my ears!
Christ, what the hell?
Oh, why?
That was a very sexual noise.
Why?
Jeez.
Why would you do, why? See, Count, this is exactly what I meant about people being too happy. If you're a part of GameCast, you have to be miserable 100% of the time. Not a team player.
I'm miserable on the inside, though.
You have to be miserable on the outside, too. That's where it counts. And no, I'm not talking to you, Count. I mean, it counts.
And the miserable voice you hear there is my other co-host, Vox, the voice 106.7 on the news team.
Yeah, but I'm not faithful. I'm cheating on you.
With
Ouch!
Go on. Who
Machin
have
is
you?
bae. Machin is bae.
So, there's a popular game you might have heard of. It's called PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Yeah, the streamer's haven.
Streamers Haven, always a big draw. Most concurrents ever on Steam. You know, that game. And they've garnered a lot of goodwill, I think, with the public in the last 6 months or however. They piddled a bit of it away when they actually added microtransactions into a full price game. Well done. Now they're going a little bit further to try and get rid of a bit more of that goodwill by basically claiming that they own the concept of the Battle Royale game.
Oh, God.
They don't. They do not own the concept of a Battle Royale game. That's not how it works. It's not how it works. That's like saying no one else can make a third-person shooter because Grand Theft Auto did it. Doesn't work like that. You can't make a first-person shooter because, sorry, Doom's done that. No, you can't do it anymore. You can't shoot demons anymore because Doom's done that. It doesn't work. No, you can't do that.
They're not
now.
even the first ones to make a battle royale.
Nope.
Minecraft
Yeah,
mods were doing this in 2011. Like, come on.
Yes, they've not done the best. They've not done the best thing in the world. They've attacked. They've attacked Fortnite, who are introducing a battle royale, to capitalize, admittedly, on the popularity of such modes at the moment. But it's got its own Fortnite twist on it still. You can do all the building and crafting around it like you could in the base Fortnite experience. So it's definitely Fortnite, but with a slightly different gameplay loop than the zombie horde. So it's its own thing, but...
And it's free to play. The PvE element isn't, but that's actually free to...
available now? Because I want.
Yes, as of today. As of today.
Good. I will go and download and play that because it's free. But yes, and the developers of Fortnite, Epic Games, own the engine that PUBG is based on.
What?
Yeah. Unreal Engine.
They own the engine that PUBG is using.
That's,
And they thought that it would be a good idea to attack the owners of the engine that they're using. And what do owners of software have the right to do at any time? Oh yeah, pull rights to use that software.
Yeah. So...
Amazing. It's like they've taken a gun, they've aimed it at the person that they want to shoot, and then they've somehow hit a very, like, a Rube Goldberg series of mirrors, and it's come back and shot them in the foot.
Well, you know, we could avoid that entire analogy by just saying that they're taking one of those reverse guns. Have you ever seen an image of those?
No. What?
Yeah, it's one of those.
Oh my God. So, this is interesting to me because we know that at least in Xbox One X, PUBG is coming to that, and then it'll be exclusive on there for a year, and then coming to PS4. And supposedly that was sort of going to be the first sign of the Battle Royale on consoles, right? Until Epic Games just straight up out of nowhere just dropped this game mode. Like, we didn't even know this was coming to Fortnite until we could play it. Like, I remember just getting an email. So I think that PUBG is also kind of angry about that. Like, you know, wanting to be the first ones to console and that sort of thing. And that Epic Games is kind of just like, nope, fuck you. We're going to do this first. And kind of, and them making it free to play. No, it doesn't at all. I'm just trying to see where they're coming from a little bit. No, I think that it's absolutely annoying. I hate that they did this. It's so dumb. They're complaining about this. Like, this is, you know what? They stole the idea from H1Z1 in the first place. Like, that was an MMO that was doing this first.
It's based on it's a mod based on a mod based on a mod based on a mod.
Yeah. Like,
I love it.
What? Based on a movie. Or like a book. Like, this isn't like some original idea.
No, it's really
It's Hunger Games. It's Hunger Games.
Yes, it is.
Pretty much.
And Hunger Games is based on
Battle Royale. Yeah, that's
which is like an older movie
/ book, which is a bit
more adult oriented than Hunger Games,
to say the least.
It's still fun,
quite a
though.
good film, actually.
So, in other news, ladies and gentlemen, you might not see PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds in the future if they decide to pull the plug.
Yeah, if Epic decides no, you can't use our engine
they
anymore.
would get so much backlash.
Oh yeah, Epic can't.
They would
do
not
that.
do that.
That would be
and
a
PUBG
terrible
knows
idea.
that too. PUBG has to know that.
But they should also know that they aren't going to help themselves. They've done a good job of the last few months of just getting rid of all of the goodwill that they had.
Yeah, which sucks because I've always heard good things.
Yeah, I've heard good things about the game, but
yeah, the game is fun. It's just the community and some of the things they do. Kind of no.
To be fair, aside from like the streaming side of things, which I attribute to like actual streaming, not so much the game, I haven't really heard anything bad about like the developers or anything. Aside, like the microtransactions, from what I know, are barely invasive. But like, I don't know.
This is that.
I agree. But, like, in terms of ways that could have been handled, it could have been way worse. But, like, this just... I remember hearing this news. I just, like, laughed my ass off. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Oh, yeah. Because it's like, they're ripping us off. No, no. That's... No.
No.
They're ripping off our already stolen idea.
Yeah, it's like saying, like, Saints Row, the series, didn't... It took advantage of GTA being popular. It didn't replicate GTA.
Exactly.
It's a parody.
This happens all the time.
The entire series of Saints Row, it used to be serious, and then it just turned into a parody of
one game.
Yeah, and then it just turned into a parody of GTA. Come on. Dildo bats.
Best sort of sum up of this, though, a comment on the Eurogamer article related to this is, hey, you can't copy us. We were here fourth.
Funny.
Yes, because they did threaten further action. Or they said they were considering further action.
Yeah, right.
Waste of money and time, that would be. Yeah.
And my fucking mind space.
Please stop being assholes, game developers and publishers. I know it's probably not going to happen, but please stop. What is an Incubus album?
Good luck.
Wow, is it? That's actually pretty cool and random. But yeah, fuck everyone.
Apart from Incubus.
What? Okay. Moving right along.
To article number 2. Pokemon. Pokemon Gold and Silver, games that are now 17 years old, and it has returned to the charts in the UK.
Good times. It's fun.
Yeah,
well,
I mean, it's a very fun game.
It's because it was
re-released. I find that it was. I find it endlessly hilarious, though, that it ended up in the UK charts again.
Well, I mean, when you really think about it, Gold, Silver, Crystal, those old games, specifically, Pokemon-based, they hold a pretty near and dear place in everybody's hearts. So, I mean,
they do.
Sense of nostalgia.
Them, and I've been playing them. I just started playing Gold again today. I mean, I play it occasionally on Game Boy, but it's nice to have it on the DS as well. And I bought
Yeah,
both
exactly.
of them.
I mean,
And there's a
having
picture
a nice,
that I want Max to find in the Discord and put on screen. That's the physical copies that I bought the other day.
Oh yeah, because
Oh,
you got both of them,
gosh.
right?
I did, because they were
That's so
£10
cool.
each. And they're
Really?
really nice, like, proper cardboard boxes. They're slightly thinner than the actual Game Boy boxes, but they don't have any cartridge in them or anything. All that's in the box is a download code on a piece of paper.
Ah, the modern era of gaming.
Yeah.
I find that both funny and a bit sad, because I would have preferred something in there.
yeah, the physical
Just
copies are
something
always great.
else. Like, I don't necessarily want it to be a physical copy. I just wanted something in there.
Yeah.
But
Like a thank you
no,
note
yeah, it's
or
like
anything?
no more expensive though than it is to just get it from the Nintendo eShop. But if you buy it through the Nintendo eShop, you get a theme for your DS. But if you buy it physically, you get the nice physical collector's box.
We should clarify though that they didn't like break into the top 10 or anything. Gold charted in 18th, but silver got 21st.
That's weird, because gold's always it charts higher. I think that's because the way we pronounce this, we go gold and silver, not silver and gold. That might be why.
Yeah, so people
I've
like
always had a
subconsciously just think
subliminal-
to go to gold.
Yeah, I've had a subliminal preference for gold for some reason. I don't know why, because they're both basically the same game. You just
I had a
get
subliminal preference
Lugia
for
instead of Ho-Oh.
Crystal.
Oh yeah, crystals. Obviously
Yeah,
the
people
best
love
one.
crystal.
It's the same. Yeah, if it's like a set of 3, always go for the third one because it's got enhancements.
Of course, which it also begs the question, so gold and silver got a re-release. Is is crystal going to get a re-release? Because, I mean,
Nope.
it would just make sense.
It would make sense, but they've not done it to the best of my knowledge, and they don't have any plans to the best of my knowledge either.
Yeah, I
But,
don't think
but
they
crystal,
will.
crystal
As
was
cool
big.
as that would be.
I love Crystal. I do with pretty much all the Pokemon games. I will go back and play those games
Yeah.
because they still hold up. They're still good games.
Of gold, silver, and crystal, wasn't crystal the only one that actually had the first iteration of Pokemon like moving in the beginning?
Yes.
Or was that... Yeah, there we go. So
yeah, and then
that's...
for some reason with Ruby and Sapphire, they got rid of the day-night cycle and the movement. With Emerald, they brought back the movement for the sprites, and then they brought back the day and night in Gen 4. I don't know why they got rid of day-night. It's a bit weird. But it had like a lot of things that revolved around the game clock as well, like berry growing and like things like the Pokemon lottery or events based on specific days. But they didn't have a
Exactly.
day-night cycle in it, which is really weird. So speaking of Nintendo, Sony have some choice words about Nintendo. Saying that in a sort of compliment sandwich, the folks at Nintendo have their strategy, and that's great. However, it's Sony's gaming boss Andrew House. He was speaking to Bloomberg, and he's basically said that there's no market for the Switch
Nintendo
because
Switch,
the
yeah.
handheld market doesn't exist apparently.
Not for Nintendo anyway. Their handheld market doesn't exist.
No, definitely
Nintendo,
not. No,
of
no,
all people.
Nintendo,
They've never had
no,
one.
definitely not. No, Nintendo's handhelds aren't successful in any way, shape, or form. Unlike Sony's, those wildly successful handhelds. The Vita, that classic console that everyone remembers.
I love how they went and introduced the Vita as the Vita Experience. It's like, right, so many experiences.
Here's the thing, though. The Vita is really fucking good. It's a really good
It
console.
is. Everyone
However,
who had
they
one loved it.
screwed it over.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Look at it. He's blaming smartphones for it.
Oh, piss off.
He says outside of Japan and Asia, there was not a huge demand. The lifestyle shift towards the dominance of smartphones as the single key device that is always with you was the determining factor.
See, that was the experience for the Vita. That was their problem. Nintendo doesn't have that problem.
No, I don't think that was it at all. Honestly, I'm just trying to see where he's coming from here.
I know. The thing that killed the Vita was the fact that there's no fucking games coming out for it other than stupid visual novels. Because they didn't encourage third parties to develop for it, and they didn't develop much for it themselves. There's like some of the games that are there that actually are there are very good. You've got like Gravity Rush. That was a Vita game first. You've got things like Tearaway, which is a really charming little papercraft style game that uses a lot of Vita features. That's also on PS4 now. You've got things like there's a game called Escape Room. That's a really interesting little 2D side-scrolly thing, which is weird and fun, and I quite like it. It's got its own charm.
I like the Wii U.
They did loads of re-releases on the Vita as well. It's like the original 3 Ratchet and Clank games are on there, and I have those.
Oh, I love Ratchet and Clank.
But they just didn't do enough. That's the problem. That's what killed it. Whereas you got Nintendo with the 3DS and whatever, they were pumping out games like nobody's business. That's why it sells, because there's loads of games.
I sold mine. I regret it, but I sold mine my freshman year of college because there were so many games on it, and I knew I was going to be spending money on those, and I needed to be spending money on other things. So I sold it because there were so many games for the 3DS.
There are.
And I was like, I wanted to catch up, and I was like, I can't be spending money on this right now. I want to, but I can't.
But it's like, if I went downstairs and looked at my shelves where I've got games and DVDs and whatever, I've got a whole row of Pokemon games. I've also got what's basically like sort of 3/4 of a row of DS games with some Game Boy games in there as well and whatever. And then I go down a shelf below, I've got PlayStation games, and then I've got Vita games put with PSP games and PS1 games. I have 2 PS1 games, I have 4 PSP games, and I have 3 PS Vita games.
Damn.
That's
it. Man, I just remembered, I still have my PSP. It's relatively in new condition because it's so unused.
I've had 3 because I've had 2 break.
But, yeah, Sony throwing shade at Nintendo. Huh. Big surprise.
Well, it's a bit of a surprise because they're not competitors really anymore.
I mean, they never really have been.
They
Nintendo just has the lead.
Like, they are, because
they're
like the gaming industry.
competitors, but I don't think many people see them as competitors anymore because they're aiming at different spaces in the gaming world.
Yeah, exactly. Sony has their PS whatevers, and Nintendo has their handhelds.
No, see, I'm trying to see where he's coming from in saying this. Like, he could have just said the Vita didn't do well, and that's fine. But, like, I just don't get where he says he says it's not a real industry. Like, why did he say that? That's factually wrong.
Oh, so here's a bit of a thing. So if you go down where it says via Bloomberg.com, it links you to the original article, and it has more information there.
Yeah, always.
And it's just saying, like, Sony's just, Andrew House is just saying that the handhelds are eventually going to vanish and that smartphones are going to take over. So, I mean,
the mobile phone game market is toxic and shit.
Exactly, and
honestly,
honestly,
that gets better. It's not going to happen.
It's not. And honestly, the technology that the handhelds have right now is still slightly better than what phones can do. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can run certain things on phones and they'll look great, but it just doesn't compare to running them on the original hardware. Yeah. Simple as that.
Also, it's interesting because, like, he isn't wrong in calling the Switch a hybrid, but, like, it's the handheld appeal that still, like, kills it. You know what I mean? The fact that it's a handheld, by kills it, I mean, like, makes it sell really well. Kills it in a good way.
Yes, of course.
That's the biggest appeal right there. Because otherwise it's just another console. You know,
Indeed.
Which it's still a cool looking console with cool games. But the handheld thing, the point is you can bring it anywhere. Like, I can play fucking Skyrim anywhere soon. Like, as annoyed as I am with that game, like, that's cool. That's so cool.
Yeah, my only problem is that mods are not going to be a thing. Not yet. Anyway, I'm not bitter.
Right.
Look.
Let's move on before someone gets too salty.
Excuse me?
I'm not
What?
I'm not going to be one to talk on the next subject.
Yes, moving on. Count.
Salt.
Shadow of War's design director, Bob Roberts, did an interview at EGX to try and basically defend the loot boxes. Presumably because he was told to.
Well, yeah.
Oh, Count, you know you want to. Go on.
It doesn't go well, does it? I mean, he's already starting on a poor footing by trying to defend microtransactions in a full-priced game, which is never acceptable. Never, ever, 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 ever. No, it's not. And if you're going to use the argument of, games cost so much to develop, look at Hellblade and come back to me. Look at fucking Hellblade. That game looks and plays amazing. Like a big budget game. It didn't fucking cost that much though.
Yeah. But to be somewhat fair.
Oh, he's challenging you.
I'm not. I am challenging you. The Shadow of War team, I actually don't know the name of the development team. It's hundreds of people.
Yes.
Setsuna is not. Setsuna is also a short game. It's a linear game. It's a great game, don't get me wrong. Not shitting on it. But Shadow of War is a massive open world game with hundreds of people working on it. So it is a bit different in that regard. Because I read an interesting, I think I brought this up before a couple episodes ago. I read this interesting article back when Fortnite was pretty new still. And it was them talking about microtransactions and how, I wish I remember the exact statistics, but they were saying like a game costs like millions to make nowadays. It can, like, and they were discussing Fortnite specifically, and they were saying like, especially because the game is going free to play, but even if they sell it for $60, like, they're not making that money back unless they sell millions of copies. You know what I mean?
You do.
So
Either
they said,
don't hire as many people, or you charge more for your game. There we go.
More than 60 though?
Yeah, I've fixed the fucking issue. I'd rather them do that than have fucking microtransactions shoved down our faces because they ruined the game.
So
okay, see, that's something that I think that would work for you and me, but that would not work for
it
general
wouldn't work
public.
for everyone. No, because then people would have to save up for a game. Heaven forfend. People have to do what people used to have to do anyway.
I don't think that people are willing to do that. Sorry, go ahead.
So let me throw a little more kindling into the fire. One of the comments says something very interesting. It states that not a single mention of the fact that said Loot Crate contents have a permadeath mechanic attached to them. This is an extremely important point to completely skip over. This is by Amber Shee in the comments section, and if this is true, ooh boy.
So, like, if you die, you lose these items?
Exactly. If this is true.
I think what it is, if the item, because the items are orcs, so you can pay for things. So you can pay.
Because you could have orcs
you'll
on
get
your
a
team
loot
and
crate.
stuff.
You'll get an orc, and the orc will die, and you don't get that back unless you pay again.
So essentially, yeah, it is correct. It is a permadeath mechanic, which is rather stupid.
Yes.
Losing an item permanently that you paid real money for on a game that's already expensive. Well, I mean, expensive in today's.
Yes, that is the freemium way of doing things, like the whole shitty mobile developer thing, which we will get onto when we talk about our next subject. And look, in Bob Roberts' defense, he did say that all of the microtransaction loot box related things were turned off when they are balance testing the game. So the game is completely balanced around not having to use the microtransactions. So what this says to me is that it's not the developers doing it, it's the publishers doing this to all these games. They're just shoving microtransactions in because they can. That's what it is. There's no other reason for it. these games, especially Shadow of War, will make its money back at $60 a copy. No doubt in my mind that it will make its money back. But you've got the publishers. They just want to just cram every little bit of money out of you. Everything. Because if publishers can't have all of the money, then they don't care. They want all of your money. And that's what it is. It's like the same as Deus Ex Mankind Divided. It was the first game to publicly be seen to be doing this, where they basically got this game and balanced it correctly, and they were told to put pay-to-win mechanics into it because the publishers wanted more money.
Yeah, that's what sucks. Because, like, in a way, the publisher is doing their job, just in a shit way. Because, like, again, going back to the Fortnite thing is that they're their own publisher. So I think it is a bit different in that regard because they need to make for themselves. And I think that, to be fair, in Fortnite, it's handled very well.
Yeah, I don't
as
have a
annoying as
problem
they
with it
can
in
be.
Fortnite because they're not like awful microtransactions, and they're also on a free game or a game that's going to be free when it's out of early access.
It's going to be free.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's where I don't have an issue. If your game's free, fine. Put microtransactions into it. Maybe don't be a dick about them, but put microtransactions. That's fine. You've got to make your money somewhere. But when you're charging full price for a game, especially if you are a big name publisher, don't do it. There's no need to do it.
It's just weird that Shadow of War is the type of game that's getting them too.
I know, that's what makes it worse, because it's just stupid. Because the thing is, I will go back to Hellblade, because you're kind of on the right point with, yes, games do actually cost a lot of money to produce. But Hellblade was sensible about it, because they cut the costs where it was necessary to cut the costs, and where they could, without sacrificing the game. But they also used alternative funding sources wherever they could get it. Because I think there was was there a Kickstarter or a Patreon for this game or something? Like, there was something along the lines of that for this game. And that's what you could be doing. There are so many ways that you could get the extra money that these things apparently need. Which I still don't think they do. I think games are over-engineered now, especially in the AAA space. There's so many other ways that this money could be got and could be saved and could be just got a bit nicer to the public about it. But they don't, because they just want more money. It's about getting every last speck of money.
And there's something here that bothers me a little more than everything else. Bob Roberts states something very specific that screams odd to me. He states, "We kept all of the loot boxes and economy of the world money turned off in playtesting." Okay, they had that turned off. And they said that the economy is stable when turned off. So what happens when you turn them on? Does that throw the entire in-game economy out of whack? Does it allow you to essentially pay to win?
Yes.
I don't know. It just...
What it is...
point.
It screams bad things to me.
It probably won't change the in-game economy in any particular way. What it'll do is just mean that the microtransactions are there, and people who are just weak-minded and they can't be bothered to play for however many hours it requires to complete Shadow of War will just pay to do it sooner. Because some people do that, and I find that really weird.
Yeah, me too. I feel like that ruins it.
You're paying to not play. Hooray!
Yeah.
Good for you.
You're paying to not enjoy a game that you
piece
paid
of entertainment, and especially in a game like that, you bought in with the assumption that it's going to take you a long time anyway. So,
yeah, this game's going to take 60 hours minimum.
Exactly.
Like, this is
so
going to be a long game.
why would you want to speed that up in any way? Like, you go in surely with that investment in mind.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Maybe
that's an argument I always forget about. Because I'm always on the side of, like, yeah, if people want to pay them, I guess, like, if they don't have enough time. But then it's like, why don't, like, what? Like, catching up to your friends in a multiplayer-only game,
all in
maybe?
one sitting.
Yeah.
Like, you can spread it out.
I don't know.
Yeah, people be weird, yo.
Yeah. People are weird, and I'm gonna move on because my salt's growing, and it's only gonna get bigger. So let's speed it along a little bit.
Oh my.
Funnily enough, that last section wasn't Snowy's salt. This section is Snowy's salt. NBA 2K18 launched very recently, and it's a freemium game that's charging $60. That's not even hyperbole. It's not just a $60 game with microtransactions. It's a $60 game with a freemium economy. Literally freemium. Nothing like... No, they're not even trying to hide it. It's so blatantly exploitative and horrible. So, when you play NBA 2K18, you are presented with a game that's basically been stripped out and just had its... Just all of its stuff has just gone slow. It's like it's all gone on slow motion. And I find it especially funny because they actually call the virtual currency in the game, which is just the best, most funny thing. The store for these microtransactions that you will basically need to buy, according to reviews of the game by people and outlets, are presented to you like a freemium game. And the game is presented in such a way, or it's built in such a way that you will almost, like, if you don't buy the microtransaction, you're going to be grinding for ages and ages and ages just to get a little bit further.
One fan estimated that in order to get to an overall rating of 86 and not spend any money, you'd have to play over 200 games, like 200 matches. Well, they went after that one website. They said they're going to take legal action for giving them a 3 because of microtransactions. I don't remember the site, but it's not a very big site.
It was called the Sixth Axis, which is a play on a 6-axis controller. It's called the Sixth Axis, and the reviewer gave the game a 3 out of 10. 2K emailed them, and there was a series of emails. While these emails were going on, the score was removed, and after a series of emails, the score was reinstated by the site. But
oh, really?
Yes, the score is back.
Awesome.
After the guy who owns the site went through the review himself, and he was like, "No, this is fair." But he said that apparently the exchange was basically a polite threat. It was like, "You should consider changing this score. We don't think this is particularly helpful." Like that kind of phrasing.
I think it's very helpful.
It is. It's not very helpful for 2K because they made a shite game. But yeah. Oh, wow. And I think, based on what's happening on Steam, they are actively deleting reviews.
Wow.
Oh dear. I'm gonna just...
I haven't heard about the I wonder if people know. People have to know about them actively deleting reviews if that's what's happening. That can't have been something we just figured out right now.
Either that or it's a glitch. It's got to be a glitch. There we go. For some reason, it's just glitching on my Steam app. I've loaded it up.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so there are reviews.
Oh, there we go. Yep, they've loaded up now. Mostly negative, though.
Oh, well.
29% of the reviews are positive. The 2K team is so smart, I found that the MC, whatever that is, has about 2 hours for the unskippable scenario. And then after 2 hours of playing, you'll find the game is non-refundable.
I'm pretty sure the MC is a game mode. I think it's like the main mode.
Yeah, but it's like the unskippable scenario that you have to go through. And that's like your sort of intro to the game, basically.
Gotcha.
But yeah, all of the things on here are just... like, this is an awful pay-to-win model, and apparently it doesn't run very well either. On a 1060,
wow.
It doesn't run very well. Really?
Wow.
Hot damn. Let's have a look at the positive reviews. One says, after 84 hours in the game, Jesus,
oh god,
very good game. Someone with 66 hours. It takes a long time to level up in my career. That's the name of their career mode, which is dumb. That it's not worth the time, and I just caught an L on my team after I scored 2 points and my opponent ran out the pause timer. The physics are amazing, but what gives with basic technical issues? Please advise. Why have you given that a positive review then? Yes, it's a grind. VC aside, this game is much improved. I only play the career mode. This game is great. Everyone is complaining because it's more realistic, like a simulation should be. No, they're not. That's not why they're complaining. You need to play smart like an actual basketball player and train yourself with the releases and practice the layup releases. After I did that, I rarely missed a layup since. The game is a great step in the right direction. Everyone's just hating because they don't want to put the time to get better. No, that's not why they're hating.
Yes, Count Fracula.
Not the reason.
Let the hate flow through you.
Oh, dear me. So many ridiculous things around this utter balls of a thing. Nice.
Really?
Nice.
Chuckling at your own joke. Oh my gosh.
Just, anyone else got anything to say?
No.
Honestly, I don't have... I feel like you've pretty much covered most of it. Like, there's not much else to say on this. It's pretty shit. But at the same time, I feel like this sort of stuff just... We keep hearing about this kind of stuff. It's not even surprising anymore.
No, that's
Yeah,
It's always
and-
just another... It's always just like, yeah, okay, another one.
it's going to lead to apathy, and apathy is what leads to acceptance, and we don't want to be in that stage. We should not accept this. This is unacceptable behavior.
What's nice is I doubt many people are going to buy it.
Well, at least 3,000 people have bought it on Steam because of 3,000 reviews.
3,000 is not very many sales for a AAA game.
That's true.
It's pretty bad, and a majority of the press for this game has been pretty bad. So,
Oh yeah, the press annihilated it, rightly so. I think that's a good spot there to leave my salt mine and wrap up the show.
Yes. That topic is now properly seasoned with your salt.
It is, yeah.
Yes. Good.
So that brings us to the end of another GameCast newscast. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please give us a like, subscribe, a share, whatever you fancy. Our social links are down in the description. And you can join our Discord from a link there as well, which is all a lovely little community. And if you want to find any of us, we can be found on the internet in various places. Vox, where can you be found?
Yeah, Max, I'm first.
I see how it is.
God fucking damn it.
Well, you can always find me on the internet on YouTube. Just look up The Voice 106.7. You can also find me on VidMe under the same name, except I'm The Voice 106_7. Same with my Twitter, Voice 106_7. And I'm on not Twitter, Jesus. I am on Mixer. Guess what my name is?
Max, where can you be found?
I can be found anywhere on the internet under Maximal, MAXEMOLE, and on the GameCast Discord in the public chat. You can chat me up. Join it and chat. Yes, I mean that in the way Count thinks it is.
Okay then.
Yes, I can be found on Twitter at Snowy Duffield. I can be found on Twitch at twitch.tv/metalnerddude. Can be found on YouTube at youtube.com/snowymetalnerddude-duffield. Just I don't do anything on YouTube at the moment. You can find me on GameCast, publishing news and doing this stuff and Release Radar. And you can find me on the GameCast Discord. So, yes, that's all of this. And thank you very much for watching this show. I hope you all enjoyed it. And we'll see you next time for more newscastings.
Yay.
And to the public I say, we're so sorry.